Hello guys, and welcome to another lap time challenge video. In this video I'm going to show you the combo of the Super Formula on this full Suzuka circuit, in like I said, the Super Formula, the 2023 model. As you can see, the top times are 34.471 at the moment, which is a very good lap I think. I don't think that'll get improved by too much, but you never know. If someone like Kai Racer turns up, it could easily be like a 134.0, knowing him. So my prediction for gold is, I think as long as you're like a 36.8 and below, it should be safe. Anyway, power curve for this car. If you get to the ECU, you can see that the power does drop off quite a bit in the later reps. And since I saw that, I went to the transmission and I saw that the red line was about 9.2k RPM, which is where I left this car to in the actual time trial. Now I'm going to show you my now I'm going to show you my fastest lap followed by my detailed lap afterwards. So I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you in the detailed lap. Cheers! Right guys, hopefully the lap I've just shown you helped, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you see like how you sort of drive it, I guess. But anyway, I'm going to show you how I've done that now. So the keyword for this I would say is curb riding, because on some curbs you gain quite a bit of grip. So I'd recommend trying to use a curb or two on this particular track. I'll tell you where when I get to it. I'll say that I'm changing from 3rd to 4th or around 170 mile an hour, and from 4th to 5th around 138 mile an hour, and from 5th to 6th around 159 mile an hour. That is where that's where like the 9.2k 9.2k revs were in those sort of mile an hour ranges. But anyway, to start up, we go as wide as you can, just to have a bigger run up to start the lap, and basically carry more speed to start the lap. Pretty hard time trial, so I'll try to describe it the best way possible. Turn 1, I basically I basically turned as soon as the spare road ends, and I don't use the inside here fully. I'm about 30% to the right, just to open up the angle a bit for the second corner, the like first actual like braking and turning corner. And I broke. Sorry, I've just gone past it. I broke basically at the end of this like little Astro after the curb. That is my braking reference for this corner. Try to brake in a reasonably straight line, but brake hard. So like go 100% brakes and the car will slow down. That is the best way to do it in my opinion. So as I got close to the actual entry of the corner, I then started to trail brake. But initially you want to be 100% brakes, even though you're still turning, just because the car slows us down a lot doing that. This is one of the corners I recommend to try using inside curb, but I'll say now. Initially, I would go on the inside curb just to try carry a bit more speed during the corner, but I will say now, if you go on throttle while on the curb, you will spin or oversteer a lot. So you have to wait until you're off the curb to accelerate. I was aiming to be 96, 97 mile an hour for this particular corner. I basically followed the like normal racing line, so where you see the dark tarmac, that is where I try to follow. It's a good reference. That is basically when, so as soon as it started to go to the left, that is when I started to turn left as well. Try to have your left wheels on this curb, because it'll help you drag a bit to the left, so you can open up the next part more. And basically, as soon as I saw that I went past that curb, as you can see now behind me, about a car length after the curb, I started to turn right now. I do a little lift, and I was aiming to be about 130 mile an hour for this corner, 131 mile an hour. Again, try to use the inside curb. It's very hard to describe it because it all happens like very suddenly. So it'll take you a few laps to get used to it. That's why at the beginning I did 3-4 laps just to try and get into the flow of it, because high downforce combos isn't my forte, but so it takes me a while to get up to speed. But anyway, try not to go too wide on the exit here. Try to have at least a car width off this curb to carry on opening up the next part of the first sector. So by the time I got to about here, I'd say after the end of the curb, which you'll see my rear view mirror, I'd say a car length after the end of that curb, I started to turn left. And again, I was aiming to be about 131 mile an hour here. Again, use the inside curb because it helps drag you around. And then for this corner, I basically brake at the start of this curb. Very little trail braking, and then again try curb ride it. This time you can go on the foot on this curb, but you have to be very careful still. So maybe initially you want to be about 80% throttle. But since I went on throttle quite late, I could get away going 100% throttle because it's a bit less bumpy for later round you curve around this corner. I was aiming to be about 108 mile an hour from memory. This bit's easy flat if you don't go too wide on the previous corner exit. As long as you have like a car width, so I'll use the rear view mirror here. Actually, I'll go back. So basically, you want to be about, basically you want to be about a car width outside this curb, or inside this curb, sorry. Carry on turning right, and then I'll say about 2 car lengths after the exit of that curb, I started to turn left. Try to go on the curb if you can, but sometimes it oversteers anyway. Just try to get close to it at the very least so you don't steer too wide. Sector 2, in my opinion, my most difficult sector by a mile, especially in controller because we don't have enough turning input and we can't really use curbs as well as a wheel. So here, see as 50 board, I turned slightly after it. You can do it flat. I don't remember if I did it flat on this particular lap, but in my opinion, what I would recommend doing is, as you turn in, blip off the throttle and pull it back on. So when I say that, I mean literally go off the throttle and within like half a tenth go back fully on the throttle. That'll be enough so that you still easily make the Degner 1. You see, I had to lift halfway around because I just missed the inside curb. So I had to lift a little bit just to stay on the track. Anyway, next braking reference. Very, very hard to see. I'm sorry, but this is all I can really say. There's like a tiny black dot on this white line. That is my braking reference for this next corner. It comes up very suddenly and very quickly. So initially you might not see it, but once you do laps, you will see it. Brake at that point, it is perfect. Right here. So if you don't want to use that, I'd say 2-3 car lengths before the end of that curb. Try to have your right wheels go onto this green Astro bit here, because it hooks your car around the corner, and then you can carry about 91 mile an hour for the apex of this corner. If you miss it, you probably have to take about 88 mile an hour from my experience. I exited it in 4th. felt a lot safer for me. Not sure if it's quicker than third, but I felt a lot more comfortable in fourth, so I would recommend you going in fourth gear as well. Stay in fourth gear. It's fast to stay in fourth. Anyway, I've just missed my braking reference. I apologise. So I'll use the rear view mirror. As you can see with this curb, I broke 2 car lengths after the end of the curb. Braking a straight line toward, and then as soon as I saw like the beginning of that curb on the inside, that is when I started to turn left, and I was aiming to be about 46 miles an hour. And you want to aim to have your car start to hit the apex halfway around the corner, like that. Try to be on the throttle as early as possible, and I would recommend going in third gear as well. Yes, we are going very slow for third gear, but this car's got quite good early torque for one, and two, if you throttle control it to about 80% throttle, you can gradually pick up the speed relatively quickly. And since this car has insane downforce, the more throttle you put down, the more handling speed you have. So try to get 80% throttle as soon as you get halfway around the corner, and then as soon as you get to the exit, then go 100% throttle, and you'll carry a lot of speed and momentum all the way onto this next corner over here, which is a good 10 seconds at least. Try use all the exit curb just to maximise the distance and minimise steering. Carry as much speed as possible. Stay as close to the inside as possible. Again, minimise distance. Stay fifth gear, it's faster. Next corner. Very difficult corner to master in my opinion. But I broke a car length after the 50 and I downshifted to fourth just to get the bite into the corner. I honestly don't 100% remember the apex speed, but I know it's around 141 miles an hour. So I'm a car length after 50. You'll see I'm about to downshift to fourth and do very light braking input. And I upshifted straight to fifth, just for stability, really. And I'm not sure if it's quicker than staying fourth. And plus, you're going over 138 miles an hour, so it's probably faster to exit in fifth if you were to go on throttle in time. But anyway, try to have your right wheels on this like little Astro bit, not this Astro, but this little Astro here after the red and white curb. I broke halfway round it. It's very hard to describe, I'm sorry, but I basically, as soon as I got onto this part of the curb, I broke about halfway between the beginning of it and the end of it over here, and I was gradually slowing the car down until about halfway around the corner. Try to pick up the throttle as early as possible, because like I described in the hairpin, the more throttle you put down, the more downforce you have. I was aiming to be about 93 miles an hour on this apex. Exiting fourth, so you understeer less, and plus that's just where the peak power is. A good S3. Honestly, my biggest weakness of this particular was S1, but my S3 was pretty good for it. Anyway, this is flat, very easy flat, stay to the inside just to minimise distance. Last corner, again, very difficult for control if you ask me, but I broke literally on the 100 meters here. As you can see now, I've just started to it. You'll see me apply the brake probably in the next frame. Well, yeah, I've just started braking at this point anyway. On the 100 meter board, braking a straight line, stay on the outside. Basically, as soon as the track starts to go more to the right on the outside here, that is when I started to turn in. Try to have your right wheels go over the inside curb. So basically, it's just starting to turn right now, so I've started to turn right. As I started to turn right though, I downshifted first just to get more bite into the corner. I cut this corner a lot on this particular lap, so basically as long as you've got your left wheels on this red and white curb, it will not invalidate your lap. But most of my laps, I aim to have my left wheels basically on this red and white curb, and my right wheels, well, however much inside it was at that point. I was aiming to exit this first part about halfway between the left and right, which I'll show now. I'll also say I was aiming to be about 54 miles an hour, 55 miles an hour in this apex. So basically, like I said, I'm a bit more to right than I would like to be. That's just because I took the first part quite slowly. So actually, you could probably take this first part 56 miles an hour, 57 miles an hour, if you want to maximise it. Anyway, exit the last part in third gear. So you see, I initially throttled in second, but as soon as I started turning, you'll see me go up to third gear, and I was aiming to be about 70 miles an hour on the last apex. throttle control a bit, because again, downforce. If you put a bit of throttle in, you just have more handling. So try to get 40% throttle as you go over the last curb. And then you can pick up the throttle because you'll be past the heavy torque bit, so you won't have as much wheel spin as you exit the corner. And that's a lap guide on this track. Not the best lap in the world, if I'm completely honest, but there's two attempts in it for me. I think I could do a low 6. Considering this isn't the best combination for the controller, just because high downforce, we don't have enough turning input to bite into the corner initially as well as the wheel, and since we can't really go on the attack the curves as aggressively as well, I'm pretty happy with this lap. And I think, yes, the gold is very difficult to get for an average player, but I say if you get into a rhythm of it and practice, I think with these tips you should easily be able to get gold. It'll take a while, obviously, to adjust to this sort of speed in the high-speed corners, especially in S1. But once you get used to it, I think the time will come down very quickly. I would also recommend, on your fastest lap, do it on the first lap, because your tyres will very easily overheat, just because you are using so much throttle, especially in high-speed corners. You're putting so much load to the front tyres. So I'd recommend doing your fastest lap on the first lap. Second lap you can maybe do as well, but honestly, even my second lap, I felt that I was starting to understeer in the high-speed corners very quickly because my tyres would have been overheating. But anyway, that's the lap guide. Now I'm going to show you how to get to the event, how to see a couple of ways to see my replay. And yeah, I'll see you there. Cheers. Right guys, one way to see a replay of my lap I just shown, you can go to Showcase in the bottom left of this home screen. Content search, make sure you go to replays. Type in my name, it's probably the easiest way to find it. And then it is obviously the super formula here. I'll see my lap time here, 1:34.821. Another way to see my replay and to get to the event in the first place is sport mode in the top right of the home section. And then online time trials, since it's the first week, it's on the left, so the first thing you see. And here you go. Make sure you've got the racing softs, which you can buy here anyway. So you can see a replay here if you just play a replay on my name. Hopefully I should be top 50 by the end of this, so I'll be on the first page at least, so you'll very easily find me. But to load the goes to my lap time, enter, go to settings, go to ranking board, go to my name, and click on load ghost. And then you can play around with the ghost settings over here. Make sure you turn that off though, and keep that on if you just want to follow my ghost, because you don't want to distract yourself with multiple ghosts to follow. So I'd recommend if you were to follow my ghost, turn your personal best ghost off and just put my ghost on. And then if you want it to reset after each sector, you'd keep this on. If you only want it to reset at the start of the lap, you'd put that off. And I'd probably recommend it to have it start 3 temps ahead of you, just so that you can react to what I'm doing. And you can see what I'm doing easier. Because if you have it start too close, then it can be distracting, in my opinion. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and sub if you found this helpful. I do appreciate it as always. I'm gonna post an ultimate guide to the Royal Atlanta race in the Manufacturer series for GT1 League. I'll upload that probably about 2 o'clock tomorrow or 2:30 or something. So when you see this on 14th of November, I'll hopefully have an ultimate guide to the next manufacturers round. So stay tuned. Hope you enjoyed. Remember, do a few laps to get used to the combo, and yeah, any help or questions you have, put them in the comment section below. I'll answer to the best of my ability. Don't forget to like and sub, because yeah, that's just how to grow a YouTube channel these days. And yeah, see you later guys, goodbye.